honesty here, Dutch. Mets and the Cowboys, they suck.
1, 2, 3, go Birds! Go Birds! What we got? 302BIRDS, Gino Stinks. Go Birds! Oh my gosh, Chad.
Your favorite Chicagoan. Go Phils.
As always, God bless. Go Birds.
Get your water ice and soft pretzels ready because you are now tuned into a 302BIRDS podcast experience. Proudly presented by TickPick, Nick's Pizza, El Diablo Burritos, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street. Let's take it to the show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of 302BIRDS. As always, you guys know we got a jam-packed show for you, and we got an awesome roster of guests as well. So it should be a pretty fun show. Want to get right into the call-ins without further ado. I'll kick it to Jack here in a second. And thank El Diablo for their third consecutive sponsorship. We love y'all. Third year in a row. Insane.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is, but their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302BIRDS sent you. God bless. Go Birds.
Thank you to El Diablo Burritos for this sponsorship. Like I said, if you're in and around Delaware, please stop by your local El Diablo Burrito.
It looks good. I got to be honest. It looks good. Looks great. I'm going to have to try it out. I'm going to have to try it out.
You gotta come to Delaware, baby.
It's so,
I'll be there.
much better than the chains. So much better than all those like Chipotle or Qdoba. It's so much better.
Oh, I think Chipotle's overrated anyway. That's just me. Chipotle. Now I'm a big guy. I'm a fatter guy. So my food opinion should be valid. You know what I mean? Chipotle is overrated. It's totally overrated. Now it's good, but it's not like everybody thinks, oh, I can have it every day. That's just, you can't have that every day.
Well, at the end of the show, now that you guys bring that up, we haven't done this in a hot minute. I think Jack's going to be in agreement. We should bring back the fun topics and do a little bit of ranking of Mexican food franchises in the area, the Mid-Atlantic area. And we'll get to that in a second because I love that, love the passion. But want to introduce Ryan Knight as well. I know I brought him on the show. This is actually Jack's first time meeting him. That's just why I'm introducing him. But I am a personal big fan of Ryan Knight, a.k.a. Broad Street Sports on Instagram. If you guys haven't, give him a follow. He's doing 1-minute post games after every Phillies game, either laying into this team if they deserve it or praising them. Like last night, I think nobody could have said it better. It was a satisfying. When I heard this man say that word, I was like, God damn, this kid is built for this shit. It was a satisfying win. So, Ryan, what do you got for us?
Well, I want to build off of what you said, that it was satisfying. I know that's what I said, but after that game last night and the way that we won the game, the first game of the series versus the Rays, and it was a lackluster offensively, they looked clueless. Then to start the second game of the series, it was lackluster again, and they look flat. Then Castellanos gets rocked, and that team just picked him up, and that sparked them. But what I saw last night, and now I listened to WIP, and I gathered my own thoughts about this, and I want to ask you guys this. But quite frankly, I'm at the point now where I think that we have overused Ranger Suarez, and we could be looking at Ranger Suarez possibly being burnt, possibly arm just done. He's never started a season and played the entire season. Usually he misses the first couple months and then he starts playing. But this year he started right from the jump. And I think he's burnt. And I think we saw Zach Wheeler tonight. Although he pitched okay, you saw him rack up his pitch count tonight. And I think these starting pitchers are just burnt. And that's something we cannot have. So I want to ask you guys, what's your opinion of Suarez? You think he's burnt? You think any of these guys are burnt? Let's hear it.
I don't think he's necessarily burnt. His last start down in Miami was phenomenal. Sure, his velocity was down, but I was attributing that still to him just coming off the IL. He was on, like, I get your point that he didn't start the season from the jump and play out a full season in any other year. But you got to take into account he was out like essentially from like mid-July until like mid to late August. So he still took a month off this year essentially with his back issues. So I don't know. I think what's going to end up happening is you're seeing that tiredness now. They all still look sharp because they all are like, okay, I'm locked into like locating and what I need to do and being more selective with their off-speed pitches and how they're locating them and knowing how to pitch, which I think is why Caleb Cotham is such an important coach for them because he's kind of taught these guys how to pitch. A lot of guys in the major leagues don't know how to pitch, and they just go up there, hope to be a flamethrower, and then when their arms burned out, like we saw with Spencer Strider the last 2 years, they get rocked in the postseason. Whereas, like, our guys, they know how to – they're like, okay, my fastball's not working today, let me go to the curveball. Curveball's not working today, let me go to changeup's not working today, let me go to the slider. Like, all these guys know how to pitch, know how to locate, know how to mix it up to keep batters off balance, raise the eye level, lower the eye level. Oh, throw it below the knees, throw it a little inside to back him off the plate, and then throw a slider on the outside part of the plate and get him to chase. Like, these guys know at least how to do that stuff. So I'm not overly concerned in that sense. I will say this, though. I think Ranger's going to end up being like you used them last year in the postseason. He'll give you a solid 4 innings. Won't necessarily get you the win or be going complete games. But he's not going to give up a ton of runs. And he's going to get through the order once or twice, maybe a third time. And we'll see about that. And I think that's what you're going to see out of these guys. I think what's also going to be beneficial is they're not really going to use a 3-man rotation in the playoffs. With the emergence of Christopher Sanchez, the dude's a stud at CBP. He's got, I forget what his exact ERA is, but I think it's in the 1.7s at home at CBP this year. Like, he gets rocked on the road every now and again, but at CBP, he's been electric. So I think you're going to benefit from having a 4-man rotation in the playoffs rather than just a 3-man rotation. Plus, I think you're going to start to see them, especially now that the magic number's at 9 after they just won a few minutes ago. Oh, Rob Thompson's definitely going to a 6-man rotation because it won't matter anymore. Okay, now you're just accumulating wins just to win. You don't need to necessarily do that. Plus, if there's ever a team that could use the first round bye, I know they've put the kibosh saying like, oh, the first round bye is a curse in baseball. If there's ever a team that I think needs it, I think it's this team, especially with all their injuries, which we'll talk about later. But
I was going to say that too. I've been saying this to my friends. I've been saying this to everybody. This Phillies team, I wouldn't say it'd be a failure. I would say this season would have been a failure if they would have lost the division and would not have gotten the first round bye. But it looks like the division, not going to jinx it, so I'm not going to would. But it looks like this division is locked. So right now, I think this team is the team that would truly, truly, truly benefit from a first round bye. Just having the home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and then that extra break. Like the break does magic for these players. And like when I think about this team, and I've looked at the recent postseason runs of this team, they've started in the wild card and they got burnt out as time went on, and that is all major league teams. But right now, if this team wants a shot, and this is their year to do it, they have to get that first round bye, and it'll help them and work them tremendously because they benefit from time off. They benefit from watching who they're going to play, more time to practice, more time to game plan, gives the starters and the bullpen guys more rest, more work to work on things. Because Alvarado is going to need time to work on things so he can locate where he's throwing because he has no idea. So
Although he's
I
been a
think that
stud the
first round
last 10
bye.
outings.
I think that first round bye is what they need.
I agree. But I got to defend my boy Alvarado. My boy Alvarado he's only given up one earned run in his last 10 outings. He had a rough July. And a rough
It was more than rough. Oh, it was more than rough.
It was more than rough. I agree with you there. But since coming back from whatever, like that's his business. Whatever that personal matter was, I hope all is well with Alvarado. Oh, but whatever it was, it got taken care of. He seems to be in a much better headspace. We're seeing the electricity out of Alvarado, the emotion out of Alvarado. He's only given up one earned run in his last 10 outings. So, I can't blame the guy.
Yo, fucking Rocco. How the fuck do we get you on the podcast, bro? This guy's been cracking me the fuck up in the comments.
Yo, all these guys, a lot of these guys that are commenting are guys from school. Because I've been advertising this for a little bit.
I appreciate
I know they're going wild. I see my one
Jack
friend. He's like,
once we get to the Eagles, Jack and I won't shut the fuck up. That's why we're holding it in right now. And also, you can ask Tom. Tom, how reliable are Jack and I when it comes to Phillies?
You're about as reliable as a wet fart.
That's an interesting one right there. But hey, I will say tonight, the one thing I wanted to say is I'm fucking singing the song tonight, Tommy, and I think that's a good bridge into our first topic. We'll get to the Phillies injury update second, but let's talk about the Phillies update right now, which was a 3-2 win over the Tampa Bay Rays. Really satisfying win, I think, the past week. You like that, Ryan? I'm taking your word now.
yes, I do.
I'm only ball busting, but seriously, they've been playing good ball. And as a fan, I think, like Ryan said, credit to him, satisfying is like the best word for it right now. They're playing good baseball. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Casty tonight made me a good amount of money on that home run. I don't know if anybody else took that out there. Shout out to you if you did. And then I also took a parlay with Trey Turner to get one hit, Casty to get a home run, and Phillies money line. So hallelujah. Your boy's getting steak dinner tonight, and the Phillies couldn't make me happier. But how are you guys feeling about this recent win and this team over the past week specifically?
The team over the last week has been on fire. Alvarado looks like a stud, as I just alluded to. You got Kerkering clicking on all cylinders all of a sudden. All year it was like, I want to believe in Kerkering. I want to believe in Kerkering. And now all of a sudden it seems like he's kind of figured it out, like how to mix up his devastating sweeper along with his 100 miles Giles type fastball. That's a real throwback nickname right there. But him, Strom is a psychopath again, going out, running out there in a man bun and a cutoff last night. Loved it. You got Hoffman, who's an absolute stud, and you got Wheeler, who looks like he's going to be a Cy Young. Nola is into classic Aaron Nola September. Hopefully he locks it back in for October like all the other years. You got Ranger, and you got Christopher Sanchez, who's a stud. You got Cassidy, who's batting over 300 since the All-Star break. Hey, Schwarber's hitting Schwarbombs left and right, although I hope he's back soon after his injury. Hey, you got Harper hitting. He's had a near 900 OPS over this past month of a slump, just simply because he hasn't hit a home run. And you got Marshy finally figuring out the hit. My boy Buddy Kennedy all of a sudden having huge at bats. You got Mr. Clutch, Cody Clemens. This whole team is on lock. That was very long-winded of me, I understand, but this dude is on lock. And you know what?
These comments.
KJ doesn't know baseball. He barely knows football. He barely knows how to tie his shoes. I just want you to know
he got
that.
ballpark Tommy pissed off. Well, KJ's going to be on the show a little bit later to defend himself, but
everybody wants to hate Aaron Nola.
Aaron Nola
is your workhorse. Aaron Nola is your dog, as Joe Haven says. Aaron Nola has gotten you big win after big win when you needed him to. The only time he failed is because Gabe Kapler pitched him 8 times in the span of 24 days, and he finally wore out. Oh, Jesus H. I'm sorry he was your only pitcher that year. Aaron Nola does not deserve the hate he gets, and I hate it, how much hate he gets.
These comments, dude. It's like reading through these comments.
We got to get Jack involved of some sort. Jack,
I'm sorry, Jack.
What's your basic update on the Phils?
Nah, I mean, it's funny because Tommy has always been a hater of like when the Phillies are losing, and now the fact that Phillies are doing well, this is a different side of Tommy I haven't seen in a while. So it kind of scares me that Tommy's so confident and positive because he's always, bearer bad news on the Phillies. But I mean, hey, it's nice to see these Phillies, get these wins. And I think, we've always had an issue with pitching. So I think, we've gotten a lot better this season. But I'm excited to see what this team can do.
True.
And now a quick injury update. I want to keep it brief because we got to keep the show moving. But ballpark, Ryan, you guys want to take us through, give me a 2-minute injury update.
Schwarber's expected back tomorrow. He was supposed to come back today, but he's expected back tomorrow. JT's expected back Friday. Schwarber's expected back Friday. They're off tomorrow. Turnbull's nowhere to be found. We've sent a search party, still can't find him. What you call it? JT's knee's supposed to be better. Bohm is looking like Tuesday, they said. And although he said he swung a bat, hit a ball, and it felt like a hammer was getting driven into his wrist. So we'll see about that one. And then everyone else has bruises and whatnot, but they're all just kind of fighting through it at this point, late stages of the season.
Yeah, no, they're a tough ball club, and if this is a ball club, if there's a team that could fight through injuries and adversity like they have, I mean, they got Cody Clemens, and Cody Clemens, I mean, this guy, the amount of words can't describe how much I love Cody Clemens. This guy is a savior, okay? Totally just a savior. But other than that, we got this Buddy Kennedy guy. I've never heard of this guy. Cal Stevenson, this guy sucked for about a month, and then now he's starting to get on base. So you see these guys like JT getting injured, and you got you had Schwarber injured. Obviously, he wasn't out for a long period of time. But either way, you have Bohm out, and you have these younger guys or guys that you shouldn't have to rely on to get you runs and to get you wins and to really carry you. And these guys are doing exactly what they have to do. They're sticking up. They're for each other. They're playing good baseball. And, I mean, they're like, if there's a team that could fight through the injuries and the adversity, it's them. It's really them.
They are a passionate squad right now, and they're playing great baseball, and it's been so exciting to see. Speaking of a little bit of different passion, now pivoting. Have you guys ever heard, Tom, we talked about it in college, of the no knockup policy for a QB? Anybody else ever heard of the no knockup policy for a QB? When a QB knocks up a girl, he kind of loses his swagger. He's not
Carson Wentz.
Bingo! I didn't even have to fucking finish it. Yo, you want to go play Pictionary or something right now, bro? You want to go to AC? We would be fucking on right now.
I would throw so much money on roulette and I would win. I'm a winner. No matter what I do, I'm a winner. You could go throw me in the casino right now. I'm a total winner. I would go win. Spin the wheel, play some blackjack, we'd win. And that's all. I mean, even if we don't, it's good vibes, good fun. But Carson Wentz, his career was ruined after he got his girl pregnant and had a kid. Ruined. And I wouldn't even say it's because of the injury, although that is a big part of it. But after he got his girl knocked up, it was all downhill from there.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying it like that, but I remember somebody said it in college, and it sounded pretty much like Ryan just put it. But now that Jalen Hurts is engaged, I mean, look, I will say this: devil's advocate before Ballpark gets into it, because I know Ballpark is going to get into it, and Jack's going to get into it too. I'll say this on my way out: I'm happy for him. Just wait to have a baby, travel a little bit. Like, I think stability is a good thing for a quarterback. And look, kids are an awesome thing. Kids are a beautiful thing. But any parent out there will tell you, I'm not a parent. I just have a Frenchie, which is like 1/3 of a kid, maybe, still a lot. Point being, it's nothing compared to a kid. Like, that's a whole different ballpark, a whole different stress level. And look, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, no disrespect to them. I think it's awesome. They handle it. But just coming like into the, I don't know. Like, I'm happy for him, but just take it slow. That's all I'm saying. And that's because I'm cautious, because I think we all know you're right, Ryan. Once Carson Wentz knocked up his girl, he wasn't the same quarterback.
He was lost in the sauce, is the term that I like to say. Lost in the sauce. He was in left field.
Yeah. Jack, ballpark. Jack, you want to take it first?
Go ahead, Jackson. I spoke a lot.
I mean, then you have Phil Rivers. When in his prime, he had like 10,000 kids, and he still played pretty good football. So that's the other end of the stick, you know. But yeah, I mean, you know, we need to minimize as many distractions as possible. But I'm happy for him that he has this this girlfriend or whoever you want to call it. But I mean, I don't think we need to worry about it. I think we just, keep on playing football. I mean, the way he played on Friday, though, hopefully he's not playing like that the rest of the season, because that was a big issue. Not making great decisions. So I hope it's not that big of a deal. But we'll see.
And Jack, you want to answer this question? Go ahead and just.
Yes, I am currently in a hotel in West Virginia right now.
Nico.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, but man. Dutch, I agree with you. You lose your ability once you do the deed, so to say, the first time. That's what happened to Carson. That's what we all said when we were in college. Like, he just magically lost all his powers. That being said, Hurts though, I feel like is a little different than Carson. He's got his head on straight, at least it seems like he's not intimidated by anyone. He's a very confident guy. Like, I could never imagine to be 1/1,000,000th of silky smooth as Mr. Jalen Hurts. Have you seen some of his magazine cover photo shoots? Like, my God, man. And like, take it easy. But I think he's fine. Congratulations to him if it's true. Who knows? But have a whirl, Mr. Hurts.
He didn't look too confident Friday night. Let me just tell you that much.
No,
he didn't look confident. And just to keep going, I don't even know. Just to keep talking about the deed, because I guess that's the topic we're on. It's a great topic. But
it's a great topic.
It's a great topic. I mean, you want a world-class education, you're going to find it right here.
Solving the world's fucking problems out here.
Oh, yeah. No,
right?
true.
Yeah.
But you see, so quarterbacks aren't allowed to do the deed, which is whatever. But you see boxers. Boxers aren't allowed to do it either. But when they're in their 3-month training camp, they're not allowed to do anything. So because I mean you lose confidence. Your brain, your testosterone, it's jacked up through the roof. And we're seeing it with Jalen Hurts right now. His confidence level is lost, and you could say, oh, he's got confidence, is whatever. He's losing a tad bit of it. Losing it.
I'm loving this. Now, going into our next topic, Jack, I know we were watching together. You had the quote, I think it was something like, tonight, Kellen Moore called a beautiful game. It was just a little bit of the players failing to execute at certain times. Overall, great game, though. I mean, the play calling looked awesome.
I mean, I think for the first time in 2-3 years, probably 2 years, this defense with Vic Fangio looked like they were rolling on all cylinders. I mean, that was probably the best defensive game I've seen the Eagles play within the last 2 seasons. Granted, Kellen Moore caught a great game for the offense, but it was just the poor decision making by Jalen Hurts. But I'm excited for this season because we have I would say, an offense coordinator knows what he's doing, and we also have a defense coordinator who knows what he's doing. And we have the players that we need. So I think that make better decisions, and I think this is going to be a great season for the Eagles. So it makes me feel a lot better coming back from that decline towards the end of the season last year with these coordinators. I mean, Saquon was the whole offense. I mean, it's funny because a lot of my Giants fans, they were bitching about, oh, wow, Saquon Barkley looks a lot better than he has for us in a long time. So that was great to see and hear. So, I think that was a great addition to this team. Just a matter of keeping Saquon Barkley healthy. That's the biggest issue.
Absolutely, Jack. I think you said it perfectly. Like, Kellen Moore called a great game. It's a much improved offense compared to whatever the shit Brian Johnson was throwing out there. But let me put it to you this way. I don't get paid to analyze teams' offenses, and yet I was predicting the plays the Eagles were going to call. So I'm sure these guys are getting paid millions of dollars to go out and analyze the Eagles' offense and to play defense, and we're picking it apart left and right last year. That's why we saw the struggles at the end of the season. Kellen Moore put some variety into the offense. He put the spice of life into the offense. He actually did this it's a crazy idea, I know, but you should space out your wide receivers when you have them going out on routes, and you shouldn't call go routes because you know what? Jalen Hurts was the top-rated quarterback against the blitz this past week. In week 1 across the entire NFL, he was the best quarterback. He was 5 for 6, I believe, against the blitz this week. So it's amazing that it's not him unable to read the blitz, because how was it that he was able to pick up the blitz the 2 seasons before that, but then last year he can't pick up the blitz? And then this year he can do it again. I think we probably shouldn't have called all those go routes when a blitz was coming. And I don't know. Just a wild thought. But all that being said, it was amazing to finally see an offense clicking, and they did exactly what I kind of thought they were going to do. You're going to give it to Saquon some. When Saquon stops working, you're going to give it to AJ Brown. When AJ Brown and Saquon stop going, you're going to give it to Goddard. When those guys stop, you're going to give it to Devontae Smith, who is a dog and will take a beating, which is beautiful to see. Hey, so like they have the best problem in the world of they have too many weapons, which is great, and it did click. Despite 2 interceptions and a fumble, they still put up 34 points. Tell me another offense in the league that's probably putting up 34 points after doing that. I saw Carolina choke this week when they did that and couldn't even get to the other side of the 50. So it's a great thing to see.
I can't tell you how good it felt to sit back on my couch. A lot of the time I was standing because I have to stand when I'm watching the game because I lose my mind. I can't tell you how good it felt to sit down or stand up and watch I wouldn't say polished, but a legitimate, well thought out, well game planned offensive scheme. An offensive scheme that involved some motion. It involved good routes, like not like routes you would find in Madden or Pee-wee. Legitimate, thought out, well game planned routes. Then you have to run the ball with the best offensive line. They did that. Kellen Moore did that. So everything I knew and I thought they were going to do offensively, as far as scheme wise, they did. Obviously, it comes down to Jalen Hurts. But other than that, it felt good to watch a scheme that looked good, polished, and really, it felt good not having to watch a screen being called on 3rd and 20. And so that's where I'm at. But I think we have to clean things up with Cam Jurgens. I don't think Cam Jurgens gets enough. I wouldn't say heat because I mean it's really not that big of a deal. He didn't do it the whole game, but I don't think he gets a lot of talking to about the fact that it was sloppy in the first quarter, first half between Jalen and Cam Jurgens. So other than that, the offensive scheme looked good. The offense as a whole looked good, besides for Jalen. And I'm expecting a big cleanup for this Atlanta game.
Yeah, I thought overall it looked great. It was a perfect game. I don't think it could have went better. We had a great night. Shout out to all those that came over. Shout out to Jack and Josh for coming over. That really made my night. We all watched the game together. In all seriousness, all jokes aside, there's nothing fucking better than watching the game with your boys. And then when we were watching it on a 100-inch projector, shout out to Amazon, getting it here overnight. But it was a really cool experience. And it was a good game. Like, that's the thing. It was one of those games that your blood pressure was up and down. And that's really what made it awesome. And your blood pressure was up and down a lot, mostly up, pretty much up the whole game, thanks to Saquon fucking Barkley. I mean, this guy stole the show. The wheel route touchdown to start the game, the rushing touchdown after. He pretty much exemplified everything you would want in a running back. And I'm still in shock that the Philadelphia Eagles got this guy. When he came out of college, I remember I was sitting in the elevator, actually with you, Tom, back at St. Joe's. Hawk will never die. Let's go. But when we were in the elevator, we were chilling, and I think it was, shout out to Mike Stevenson, if you ever listen to this podcast, but he was talking about Saquon Barkley saying, hey, this guy could be the best running back draft-wise coming out of the draft since Adrian Peterson. When you think of Adrian Peterson and that name, that this guy's just associated in the same sentence with him, I mean, that's a top 2 running back of since 2000. I think the only other guy that I put in the same caliber is maybe LaDainian Tomlinson from the Chargers. So overall, I think it's insane that the Philadelphia Eagles have Saquon Barkley, and I think it's even insaner that he's going to be running behind this offensive line. I mean, Jesus Christ, he looked insane. What were your guys' thoughts?
I think
Saquon put on a show for sure. We said on our post game that this was the first time since Terrell Owens to have a career opening with the Eagles with 3 touchdowns. We can see that this kid is a versatile player. He still has the speed in him. When he hit that hole, I think it was like in the 3rd or 4th quarter, he still has that speed. And there's deep routes, that touchdown pass, whether or not that's Saquon Barkley or Jalen Hurts, that was a beautiful place to pass and a great catch from Saquon Barkley. So, I mean, this guy is definitely still, I would say, in his prime. Again, he had a little mistake, first drive when he ran the ball with the field. But I think now playing, in America, I think we will see this won't be an issue at all. But yeah, it was electric to see Saquon Barkley's performance on day one in Kelly Green, or not Kelly Green, in Eagles uniform.
Yeah, like Jack, what you were saying, like he was a stud. He went up, got that ball. He looked like a wide receiver. Like you don't see running backs usually making that play. Like we haven't seen that in a few years now. We're running backs, and we saw with Saquon making that insane catch in the end zone. And dude, all of a sudden, he was cutting through the line like it was Swiss cheese. He's getting through that line, and you want to know why? It's because he actually is competent offensive line. I don't think he was the issue in New York, considering Daniel Jones, because they have the same line essentially from last year, got sacked 3 times and was pressured on almost every single snap on Sunday. I don't think Saquon was your problem. I think that you just have a shitty offensive line in New York. I think that's what their problem is. He was an absolute stud, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah. So before I get into what I'm gonna say, if I leave, it's not on purpose. My phone's going to die because I didn't know I had to do this on my phone because my friggin' iPad screwed me. Didn't want to work.
Oh, so good. We appreciate the context.
Of course. So whatever. So Now, everything that Saquon Barkley did Friday night is what I thought he was going to do and what I believed and I knew he was going to do. Now, did I think he was going to get 3 touchdowns and just do what he did exactly? No. But and I don't think that it's going to be quote unquote sustainable either. But I think if he could average 100 yards or around there and wear down a defense, what you saw Saquon do was wear down the defense. Obviously, burnt through him a lot, had scored a lot, but he beat it up the middle. He wore him out. And when you run the ball and you make them linebackers think about, hey, I got to stay close because we got to stop the run. I got to help out my defensive line. Then that opens up the quick slant options. That opens up the chance for Devontae Smith on a quick slant or A.J. Brown on a quick slant, which is what we saw them do on that final drive of the fourth quarter. So is Saquon going to get 3 touchdowns every game? No. But is he going to wear down a defense and run for 100 yards? Most likely, yeah. And that is exactly what we need him to do. And that goes along with the defensive or the offensive scheme of Kellen Moore.
It's so satisfying. I mean, to just see the Eagles year after year just fucking reload running back after running back after running back. It's felt like my whole life. Brian Westbrook, LaShawn McCoy, Darren Sproles was here for a little bit. Even Ryan Matthews wasn't that bad during the Chip Kelly era. Jay Ajayi, Miles Sanders, Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift. I mean, you think about all these names that have been here throughout our life, and I think it's fair to say, no disrespect to any of the others, but hype-wise, this is probably the most hyped up running back that the Eagles have ever had throughout our lifetime, the most expectations. So I will say, there's not a better fucking way to walk right into Philadelphia and say, what's up? My name's Saquon Barkley, and I'm here to do this. I mean, I saw some people also complaining a little bit about the field, which that was why I was really impressed with how our offense played. And, well, Ryan, you can go grab a charger, bro. We'll just bring you back real quick. But I want to show this clip real quick, too, where the field just looked absolutely like dog shit. Check this out. I mean, just freaking awful. Looks like a rugby field, right, Jack? I mean, how would you describe that?
Yeah, I mean, it's in Brazil. It is not meant for 300-pound, 6'6" NFL players with cleats. It's meant for, between 5'11" and 6'2", 190-pound players. So yeah, that was the big issue. They should have just kind of assume that, because the fields in Europe and any place out of the U.S., they aren't built for NFL players. I mean, these are huge athletes. These are, if you had DK Metcalf on that field, that wouldn't go, because that man is a freak athlete. So that definitely was a big issue. It sucked to see them have to change their cleats every single quarter or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that definitely was an issue that we saw Saquon struggle with on the first drive. But I think now being back in the U.S., that's not going to be an issue, and I think it's going to benefit us for our offense.
Ryan, what were your thoughts on it?
I think it was a total disgrace. First, that the fact that we had to go play in Brazil. The players didn't want to do it. The fans didn't want it. And number one, and really the main reason, it takes a home game away from the Eagles. It takes a home game away from us, which is more time for us to go tailgate and party at the link. But outside of that, I think it's a disgrace that the NFL allowed a field like this to be played on. The NFL is paid billions of dollars to do what they do, and I think it's a total disgrace that they allowed the play, and they knew about it. They knew that the field was like this, and they allowed the health and safety of the players to be in jeopardy when that should be their number one priority: health and safety. And just because you want to go play football in another country, that's fine by me. But you got to make sure the field and the conditions are right. And Brazil was not the right place at the time, especially because of the gangs or whatever. So the NFL totally botched this and put a lot of health and safety of the players in jeopardy. And not just the players, but the fans that went there as well.
And not to mention, PSG got pretty much kicked out for the face paint. So that's why you see these videos of him inside the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
I would say he's a Philadelphia legend. We always see him at home games or away games. And him having to clean his face off after the beautiful work that Jordan Spector did, that also is a big issue. All these different regulations they had in Brazil was a big issue. And I mean, it still looked like PSG was having a good time, but that was he's kind of like an icon for Philly sports. You know what I mean? So him seeing him not allowed to be in the stadium is a big issue.
It seemed like that was the only downfall of the trip, too. And I know in his own words, because we all obviously are all huge Philly sports guy fans. He does a ton for us. If you guys don't already, give PSG a follow. But I saw his video and he said the only downfall was the face paint thing. So besides that, it seemed like it was an awesome trip, not just for him, but everybody that went. And it seemed like a lot of the stuff that people were saying was exaggerated, that it really wasn't as dramatic as people were thinking that it was made to be. But back to Ryan's point, and I will just say, I mean, it sucks ass that the Philadelphia Eagles had to lose a home tailgate because that's a party for us. That's a good time. That's a memory. And, you know, I hope that if they do, I already hear that the NFL has a couple games queued up for, you know, outside of the U.S. next year. If the Eagles get in that again, it better count as an away game. Now, look, away game, I don't know that I'm that upset about it. The Eagles bring it internationally. So it'll happen, but it's got to be an away game for me. Now, one thing I also want to jump into, fellas, was some defensive standouts. Man, it feels good to say that. We're talking about Eagles football again, baby. Fall is in the air. But Zach freaking Bond was probably one of the biggest hidden gems that Howie's found in a long time. I mean, this guy went off. I think it was something like 15 or 17 tackles and
15.
2 sacks it was. Insane. When you think about what he did last year, too, that was as many sacks as he had last year. Yeah, also had a pick last year, but the dude just has a nose for tackling guys. I know that they announced today, I think Nakobe Dean would be the starter at middle linebacker. That was a decision that they had before.
Ahead of Devin White, yeah.
Which I don't know how I feel about all that. I love Nakobe Dean. I think that means that Vic Fangio trusts him the most just because he's probably been here the longest. But we'll see how the season goes on. But, man, they got some serious depth, that linebacker, boys. Doesn't it feel refreshing to say that?
It does indeed, Dutch. Plus, like, I've been you know me. I've been a Kobe Dean fan from the beginning, just simply because I think he's a high IQ guy. Hey, and let's be honest, Dutch, I think let's just use Fangio's words. He worked his ass off this offseason, and he was a stud in all the preseason games. Showed out every day in mini camp, showed out every day during training camp, and he was a stud, and he earned the job. Whereas Devin White, I think he kind of thought he had this job locked up just from his signing, and I think he took it for granted. And Nakobe Dean came out the bigger dog in this fight.
Yeah, it's true. When I think about Nakobe Dean, obviously I think about his toughness and the way that he plays. But in recent years, from what I've seen of Nakobe Dean, my hopes were not high. What I was thinking about Nakobe Dean, it wasn't like too positive. But throughout training camp, you heard Fangio and ESP and these guys saying that Nakobe Dean is outperforming Devin White in every aspect, and he proved it week one. He came out there. He had the biggest hit of the night. He absolutely hit stick this guy. I forget who it was, but he absolutely wrecked him, and he almost had a pick. But other than that, he played good. He played good defensively. Tackled, was all around the field. But I mean, my main takeaway and my main MVP of this game, or from the defensive side, is Zach Bond. He had 15 tackles, 11 solo tackles, 2 sacks. But like, coming into the year, I had no idea who Zach Bourne was. I never heard of this guy. I didn't know who he was. And then training camp, you heard Fangio and ESP and these guys. Oh, he's legit. He's good. He's good. No, he's going to be great. And then I'm like, oh, I don't believe this. Give me a break. He comes out there, and that's the way he plays. That was an MVP, defensive MVP caliber game. That was better than I expected or anybody was going to expect. Yeah, I mean, like that is the intensity and mentality that the Eagles need at all times from the defensive side.
Dalton, you muted.
I'm cracking up at this chat because we have never had. I mean, hey, I love it. I'm not complaining. But hey, shout out to Ballpark Tommy's biggest fucking fan in the fucking chat tonight. If you guys think we're going to fucking ignore this shit, no, we love this shit. Please keep the fan accounts coming. These are hilarious. I'm cracking up over here. But it's a good week. It's a happy week. Our mental health isn't tested when the Eagles win. And, you know, you can go off and sleep easy at night. But, fellas, we got a big Monday night football matchup coming up against those rotten Atlanta fucking Falcons coming into our house. I'm kind of nervous for this one. I'm not going to lie. Kirk Cousins is still a good QB. He just played like dog shit last year. Now, here's what plays for the Eagles' advantage. Kirk Cousins plays like dog shit every time he plays in primetime. So with that being said, I really do think that the Birds have a good chance to walk out of this game. But I think it's going to be a gritty game. I feel like every time we play the Falcons, it's gritty, in my opinion. And Bijan Robinson is going to have a heyday on this defense. I'm calling it now. I was talking about it earlier today on my sleeper video. But the Eagles had the worst rushing defense in the NFL last week compared to yards per carry. They gave up 7.8 on average yards per carry. So even though Bijan Robinson upset a lot of people last week that took the anytime touchdown score, I think he's going to have a good bounce back week this week. That being said, I still think that the Eagles offense gets humming. They put up a good amount. I think it was 34 points off the top of the dome, 34 points on a very good Packers team. That's the thing that a lot of these other NFC East fans don't want to talk about. Packers are a good fucking team. So I do think that the Eagles will emerge as 2-0. And I will say, if they lose this game, I'm going to be pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with
I'll
you,
go real
Dutch.
quick. Go ahead, Tom. Finish it up. Go ahead,
Okay,
Tom.
you sure? Are
Yeah,
you sure?
yeah.
You're on a little
Yeah.
bit of a delay because I started talking and then all of a sudden it's like, woo. That hotel room, is there something a little hanky-panky going on down there, or Jackson? And something that we should know about?
I'm in the middle of West Virginia, so
The Red Room.
I know. He is in a red room. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
for the Falcons. Maybe he's at the Falcons fucking hotel right now. Wow.
He might be. He might be, Dutchy. But all that being said, Atlanta sucks. If this isn't a game where I can just quietly crack open a beer and kick back around halftime, I'm going to be a little disappointed. I'm not going to lie. They didn't really have any blowout wins last year, so I need a blowout win this year, Dutch. I need one. I need something. Sure, they have Kirk Cousins and all that, but it's prime time Kirk Cousins that we're going to have on Monday night. And really, their only player they have is Bijan Robinson. They are literally the Giants of the South, essentially, except they actually have a decent quarterback. So, all that being said, if this isn't, an easy game for them, I'm going to be a little disappointed.
Oh, my God. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be more than disappointed. That post-game show on the ride home, I'm going to be bitching. Jack, I'm going to have to set you up on StreamYard, and I'll message you all the shit before. Jack and I will be live like we are after every Eagles game, either pissing and moaning or jumping up and down. This past week was a good one. Surfsides, good vibes. I hope week 2 is good vibes. That's what I'll say. I'll be coming home from the game, and I hope that I'm coming home with a good mood, a smile on my face, because the Eagles need to get the job done here. And it was hilarious, Jalen Hurts. I'm cracking up over here. And if you want to donate, man, you can mess around with Tommy's Venmo. And if you ain't fucking around, you can also Venmo Tommy there too. If you want to come on the show, let us know. We take checks.
hopefully I'm not on delay. I still may be, but
You're good. Sorry, I'm on a delay now.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
Ryan,
I'm
you
gonna
mean?
laugh.
Sorry, you're good.
Ryan, yeah, my fault.
Coming into the Packers game, I just want to go back. I said that the Packers were going to win. Now the Eagles won. So and now coming into week 2, obviously the Falcons and always give us a run for our money. Doesn't matter if we have the best team and they have the worst team. They always give us a run for their money. So I'm thinking, I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Eagles might lose. And you know what? If I say the Eagles are going to lose, they might win. If that's the way I got to play this, then that's the way I'm going to have to do it. But the Falcons are overrated. The Falcons they have Pitts, and they have an overrated old Kirk Cousins on prime time, by the way. Without Bijan Robinson, this team is clueless. And their defense is okay. But when I look at the Eagles' side, they have to on the defensive side, they sucked so bad on the defensive line. They had no pressure. They couldn't get to the quarterback. They couldn't stop the run. All the stats back it up. Bijan Robinson is going to run all over this team. And if the Falcons win, that's the way they're going to win. And that's what Bijan just absolutely tearing us apart because we have no interior defensive line. Bryce Huff, this guy stinks. He stinks. Jordan Davis came in 25 pounds overweight. These guys, either way, they have to be mobile. They have to be expecting the run, and they have to stop it. If they want to win, they have to stop the run. That's the way that it has to play. But the Falcons aren't good. Kirk Cousins hasn't been good in 5 years, and it's on prime time too. So, I mean, there's no reason why they should not win this game.
I'm sorry, these comments, but you're right, dude. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Kyle Pitts is also fucking armpits. I mean, that dude, I had so much hype for Kyle Pitts coming out of college, probably like everybody else, and he's just been such an underwhelming expectation. Now, he did help me out with an anytime touchdown last week, but I just feel like this is going to be a grittier game. I could see the Eagles coming out of this game with like a 14-17 win. I think it's going to be within 10 points, 7 points, and I think it's going to be a defensive game. That's my take on it, though. I just feel like the Eagles' defense is going to get to Kirk Cousins. It's prime time. I think that the Eagles, this is kind of like their first game of the year in a way, too, at least back in America. So they're still going to have to knock off all that dust back at home that all those teams got to knock off at home last week. That being said, true for the teams that played away last week that get to play home too. So the Eagles aren't the only ones in that aspect. But I do think it will play to their advantage. Seeing that fucking stadium lit up green like this, everybody on their phone, on the fucking app or whatever, it's going to go hard. It's going to be crazy. You got a couple Millers in your system ballpark. Dutchie's got a couple Surfside Lemonades, approximately 2.5 to get me buzzing. And it's a good night. Boys are rolling home. But I really do think that this could be a good night. I think it's going to be a close game. And I think that that's not a bad thing. I just want to say that too. I think a lot of Eagles fans are like, oh, I don't want a lot of close games this year. I do. Number one, entertainment-wise, but number two, a team that can win in close games consistently is going to win championships. Look at the Eagles in 2017. They only beat the shit that year out of, I think, the Broncos. I might be wrong. I remember the Broncos
the game
that
out of a few
came.
teams. They had like 3 or 4 teams they beat the shit out of. You need to have that ability to beat the shit out of teams too. You can't be playing down to your opponents. It's I just saw a stat even. I know it's baseball and you're going to hate me for this because I'm bringing in baseball, but every World Series team since 2000 has scored at least 15 runs in 1 or more games in the season in which they won the World Series. So to be a good championship team, you should be able to kick the ass of the teams that are absolutely atrocious. I don't need it to be close against the Little Sisters of the Poor, Dutch. You want entertainment and all that, but I have a higher goal in mind. I have a Lombardi trophy and some drinking on Broad Street to go do. I think we need to I think you need to keep that in mind, Dutch. As much as you're like, oh, this was entertaining, my heart rate got up. I needed to call my cardiologist the next day. Hey, like, let's kick the shit out of the Little Sisters Poor. Hey, this is your Little Sisters of the Poor this week against the Falcons. Go kick their ass.
You know, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit, Dalton. We have the 9th easiest schedule of this year, and I'm expected for this Eagles with Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Jahan Dotson, Devontae Smith to kick the shit out of every team we play this year. We have a few hard games, but we don't need this bullshit. Oh, I hope it's a close game. Nah, fuck that. We need to kick the shit out of Atlanta Falcons. I think we're gonna win 28-14.
I think now, I'm gonna have to agree because this team, after what a disastrous year it was last year, this team needs to be coming out and firing on all cylinders. Now they're going to have their close games. They're going to have their close entertainment games, like the Ravens. You know what I mean? So they're going to have their close games, but they need to absolutely beat the living shit out of these teams, like the Falcons. They're not good. They're not up to the Eagles' caliber. They need to beat the shit out of the Giants. They need to beat the shit out of the Washington. Like they need to just go after the teams that they should easily beat, and not just sit there and play just to play. You got to be there and put up points and rack up the offense and get the confidence going. Because when you have confidence and you're playing good football, even if it's versus bad teams, the confidence is going to rise. Like if you're beating the shit out of these bad teams and then you go in and you play the Ravens at high confidence, you're going to do good against the Ravens because of the fact that you have high confidence going into the game. So you need to just take care of the business. That it's easy business. It's easy garbage time, like hockey garbage time. And you got to take care of business. Then when you take care of business, you can easily take care of the business that is a little bit tougher.
And I want to just say and preface, Tom, sorry if I did come across as saying that. I mean, if they have they play a lot of good teams this year. So if they had, say, 10 close games this year and 7 games where, well, let's just say this, because they're not going to win every one. 14 games are how many I thought we would win at the end of the year. So if they have, with that being said, 8 or 9 close wins, because they do play quality teams. And then if they had a couple games where they beat the shit out of teams like 6, 7, I'd be happy with that, or win by at least 2 or 3 scores. That's the thing. There's something about winning, and then there's something about winning comfortably. So I definitely get all your guys' take on that. I do think that there's a lot riding on Monday night for both teams. The Falcons don't want to fucking end up 0-2 after making this monumental trade for Kirk Cousins. Maybe they'll bring on the backup QB, Michael Penix. There's rumors of that already going around. But also for the Philadelphia Eagles, if they lose this game, they're going to be talked about as such a different team. It's going to be, the Eagles who lost to the 1-1 Atlanta Falcons that lost to the Steelers week 1. Not saying the Steelers are a bad team, but the Steelers just had a backup QB, and you guys just lost to them. So I do think that the Falcons are a quality team, but still think that the Eagles will get the job done.
Well, and the only close games we have this season, Cowboys obviously one of the games. We have the Bucks. Bucks are playing pretty well. The Browns are ass. Jaguars are decent. The Rams are pretty good. We don't really have any games that are going to be close at all. So having 8, 9 close games, that's fucking bullshit, dude. That is bullshit. We have the only tough games we're going to have are going to be Bengals just lost to the fucking Patriots. The Patriots are ass. They've been ass. Jacoby Brissett isn't doing shit. So the fact that, we have maybe 4 games that are going to be close. That's my opinion.
What 4 teams? What 4 teams? I know the Ravens are in there.
The Ravens are good.
He has to say that because his girl's a Ravens fan, Ryan. Sorry, go ahead, Jack. I'm just ball busting.
Ravens, Bucks, one of the Cowboys games. Dude, did you see them play on Sunday?
Hey, I'm with it, dude. I'm with it. I just wonder if Ballpark and Ryan will be with it. But go ahead. I see.
And then maybe the Steelers game. That's it.
I think we'll have a close game with the Cowboys. I think we'll have a close game with the Commanders. I don't know if we play the Bills this year. I'm looking at our games right now. The Bengals game, I'm a little bit worried about. I know you're not worried about them. I'm kind of worried about that, but I guess I see your point. Like teams like the Panthers, even the Jaguars, like they should beat the shit out of them or at least win by 2 scores. The Giants, they should demolish both games. Washington, they should win one, I think, by at least 2 scores, and then the other one might be a close game, which could go either way. The Bucks, I actually like that take, but what about my Saints, Jack? Are you feeling them week 1, bro?
No, dude. Derek Carr had a decent game on Sunday. Shaheed is okay, but that's just the Saints always start out pretty hot and then they just kind of fizzle out. So no, your take that you said last season, oh, the Saints are going to have this great year this year.
I thought that they would be in the NFC Championship. I did say that.
No, that's bullshit. That is not facts at all.
They're a better team than what people say and what we're saying right now. They're a decent team. They're a sleeper wild card team, but they're not like an NFC Championship team, and they're definitely not going to come out of the NFC South. There's no way in hell they come out of the NFC South. But no, they're a better team than what they get credit for. That defense is good. They won me a lot of fantasy points too. So they that team should get more praise than they do.
Let me ask you this: is the NFC back?
Is the NFC bad or back?
Back.
I think it's getting stronger. I don't think it's as tough. It's not as tough as the AFC. To come out of the NFC, NFC's still weak, but it's getting tougher. Like, the Bucks, I wouldn't sleep on the Bucks. You shouldn't sleep on the Eagles. You definitely should not sleep on the Niners. The Lions are good. The Saints are a sleeper team to get in there. So obviously you have some teams, like NFC's getting tougher, but it's definitely not as tough as what you see in the AFC, where it's just these total powerhouses. But the NFC it's getting tougher, but it's not at a total level. Like what I've seen, you get like these sleeper teams that just roll. They just roll through the NFC, and it's so. But it is getting tougher.
I think it's definitely back. I'm with that take, Jack. I think when you look at a lot of these teams, and that's the way that the NFL goes. Every couple of years, you start to. But I do think, the Cowboys, as much as I hate to give those fuckers credit, they looked really good week 1, too. Niners looked good. So I think that the NFC is going to have a step up in competition this year than it did last year. I definitely agree with that take. Speaking.
One last thing.
Go ahead.
It tells me that the 49ers, they don't necessarily need McCaffrey, right? Yes, he is a elite running back, but that one guy they had, James, whatever his name is, he played really well, filling in for McCaffrey for sure.
And actually, before we get into our next topic, Jack, I'll go ahead and...
Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia, with your host, Jack Dordan, the mayor of Delaware.
Thank you to Fantasy Fire. Thank you for Tick Pick for that sponsorship. So if you need to buy your Eagles tickets, buy them through Tick Pick. They have a booth now or a area in the concourse, so stop by. But tonight's question: do you have the scoreboard or not yet, Dalt?
I'm gonna pull it up in 1 second, like 2 seconds. Sorry. Go ahead and read the question first.
Yeah. So tonight's question: the Eagles lost to which team in Super Bowl X, V, or 15? A, Patriots, B, Bengals, C, Steelers, or D, Raiders. Just for information, it is in the 1980 season. So the Eagles lost to which team in Super Bowl 15? A, Patriots, B, Bengals, C, Steelers, or D, Raiders.
Don't answer it yet. We'll answer it after the next topic. And Jack, I do want to say I do have a mistake on here. I apologize. The only mistake is Ashley does have 2. The rest of the score is correct, but take it away.
Yeah, so as you see, season 7, we have the fans 1, Dalton 1, Ashley has 2. Tommy, do you have 0?
He has 1 too. Yep.
Okay. Tommy has 1, Josh has 1, and
Amir.
who's that? Amir has 1. So that is the leaderboard. We will update it towards by next week.
We're gonna have
do
to
you wanna
add
go-
Ryan to it too if Ryan wants to start joining on this thing. So stay tuned for that, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do we want to go over the answer now or go to the next topic and then go to the answer?
Let's go to the next topic now, which I saw this comment on Instagram today, and I had to make a topic about it on our show. So Micah Parsons on his podcast was just talking some shit, which is unrelated to this topic. Just about like how sometimes players and organizations are meant to be. And me being, stereotypical asshole Philly fan I make a post of Micah Parsons in an Eagles jersey being like, oh, is he trying to say something? Well, one of our commenters, who shout out to him, Rice302, appreciate you for the comment on this. This comment had me cracking up, but it also had me a little bit upset too, because we shouldn't be giving up on this guy yet. It says, Bryce Huff is ass. Time to trade for Parsons. No, not yet. Look, like we said with the field too, I'm giving everybody on the defense a pass week 1. Everybody gets a free pass. You know what I mean? I'm not upset. I'm not mad. They got the win. It's in the past. It's over. When they're back on their own turf, I want to see this guy go off. I know Brandon Graham was also playing primarily a lot of the snaps at edge, but they got to get this guy involved and they got to get him start humming, because this dude needs to be what Hassan Reddick was and then some, with potential for what the Eagles spent on him. I do think he will be, but like I said, I don't blame it on him week 1. I'm not scared yet. I'm not upset. I'm not hitting the panic button. And I don't know what the Eagles are doing scheme-wise. It sounds like to me, like in my opinion, Vic Fangio just likes guys with experience. So I think maybe he'll ease these guys in is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think I could be wrong on this, but I think Brandon Graham had like 35 snaps against the Packers. He played on 35 snaps, and Huff had 32. Brandon Graham is a veteran. He is a great player, but somebody who's young like Huff, he should not be getting less reps on defense than Brandon Graham. That is something we got to save Brandon Graham for those, third and 2 downs or whatever. But I mean, hey, Huff, as we saw in the preseason, granted it's the preseason, he has the capability of being great. You saw him against, I forget what team we played in the preseason, but he literally took on 2 guys and still got the tackle. So I think he's still a great player. I mean, he played phenomenal for the Jets last season. But, like Dalton said, I'm not pressing the panic button yet, but we need to see some more out of this guy.
I agree.
Ryan, Tom, you guys have any thoughts?
Agree. It's one game. Like, calm yourself. Oh, we'll see how he does. He was great with the Jets. No reason why he can't be great with us.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I'm not at the panic button yet. From what I saw out of him, I wasn't very pleased. But I have to see him on a regular field and a little bit more. But hopefully he can live up to what he was brought here to do. But I'm definitely not totally sold on him after week 1, which I guess I'm going to give him a tad bit of a pass because of that field. But I do agree.
I think we'll see these guys get back to them true selves once they get back on that Philadelphia Lincoln Financial Field grass. And they're going to hear the fans, everybody like me, going absolutely bonkers crazy for him. So I'm excited for it. It's going to be an insane atmosphere. Now go ahead and take us home, Jackson.
Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia, with your host, Jack Dorden, the mayor of Delaware.
Thank you to Tick Pick for that sponsorship. It is Eagle season right now. Buy your tickets through Tick Pick. Code is 302BIRDS.
So we actually have a link now. If they click the link, it's $10 off. Your first order must be above $99.
Awesome. So tonight's question, or go back to scoreboard, Dalton, and then we go to the question and the answer.
Yep, pulling it up now.
As we see here, fans are at 1, Dutch is at 1, Ashley's at 2, Tommy's at 1, Josh is at 1, and Amir's at 1. So tonight's question is, The Eagles lost to which team in the Super Bowl 15? A, Patriots, B, Bengals, C, Steelers, D, Raiders. The Eagles lost to which team in Super Bowl 15? Patriots, B, Bengals, C, Steelers, or D, Raiders. And again, this was the season of this was in the 80s. So tonight's answer for you is, I'll go to the chat first. We got Jimmy Joe's Vlogs, Raiders. That is the correct answer. Conrad Joseph, D, Raiders. Tommy, D, Raiders. Ashley, D, Raiders. And Dalton, Raiders. I don't know if that's because everyone else said Raiders, but I didn't see Ryan's response.
We'll get him in here next week. We'll teach him how to do it, so it's no sweat. But it's funny that a lot of Eagles fans actually know that, because I feel like as Eagles fans, the reason we all nailed that question and got it right, even though none of us were fucking alive, is because Eagles fans are that crazy, and we've been in that few of Super Bowls that when we were in one, we knew we were in one, especially when we were younger, like 2018, 2022 excluded. I mean, it was only really, I think, 3 that they were in before that throughout all that time. So
they've been in 80, 2004, 2017, and then 22.
So 4?
Yep.
And they've came away with 1?
Yep.
Wow.
God, that fucking sucks. All right, Jack. I mean, I don't want to depress the people any longer. Go ahead and take us out of here, handsome.
Yeah, coming from Mountain Mama, West Virginia. Hey, Josh, it's an outro, not an intro. Hit that motherfucking outro.
Here we go. 302 birds. You know, stinks.